Here's a quick overview of the course, just to help answer questions and to help understand the way that things are structured. So here's an overview of what's going on each week, more or less, just to help you kind of get the lay of the land as well as what's going to be happening each time. So we've already passed the introduction week, so that's lesson number 0 if you want to call it that. And that's where we're doing initial setup, getting the Google Plus community set up, learning how to record your videos, things like that, and already start thinking ahead, like understanding what needs to be done, as well as what you want to get out of the class. This week, week 1, you're creating your elevator pitches and finishing up that setup. But then also you notice in the details column that you're starting to do research, and that research is really open-ended. I'll get into that in one of the next slides where you see what skills you're supposed to be getting. And that's really what you should be researching it. And the idea being that if you don't know what it is, then let's talk about it. Post it to the community, post ideas, try stuff out, like really dig into it. And so that's where you're gonna learn those skills. But those skills aren't the end-all be-all of this course. Okay. Next week you'll be splitting into teams, and so there'll be teams of 3 to 4 people, depending on how many students there are. We had to wait until that week because there are still students adding up until that point, and so that way it makes it, it's crazy to try to create teams after the fact and rejuggle after the fact. So that's why you see right now you're doing elevator pitches and getting your feet under you and figuring out what's going on and how to interact. The end of next week, so the assignment after you're set up with your team, I'll get you those teams by Monday. Then you'll have a team project proposals, and so you're going to come up with 3 proposals that you're going to post and talk about, and kind of I'm going to help discuss those proposals with you, but in the end you'll decide which of those 3 you want to continue on with, whether you listen to my recommendations or not. It's going to be up to you. Okay, and then after that, weeks 3 and 4, you're going to be finalizing your project proposal and turning it into a design presentation, and that's going to be kind of technical, like how's it going to be structured, what parts you're going to work on, when you do what happens, and things like that. So all that will come together. So there'll be a fair amount of research, some designing of your application, and screens and layout and things like that. They can be wireframes. You don't have to come with the logo and everything by then. And then after you do that design presentation, then as you can see, it really is wide open, where you just do every other week we'll do kind of a performance review, and I'll give you feedback on how things are going. And it feels real wide open, and that's because at that point you and your team are going to be driving that. So let's have a look what that looks like. So before you get into teams, so you're going to be working on that project. And so in iLearn, you'll see there's a document under the course folder, and then under there it's called Topics and Resources. And it's going to talk about the different topics you need to know. And so in the course, just to make this easy, we talk about the 9 JavaScript skills, even though they aren't really all JavaScript. Just bear with me. It's much easier to refer to it that way. But the idea being that you need to master and not master, you need to be fluent. So that's the wording, is be fluent in these 9 skills. And so if you say, what's a JavaScript object? Then they post that to the community, and then people can post examples, and we can do JS fiddles to show you and kind of sandbox that you can play with, and you'll take that. And so once you understand these building blocks, these aren't all the skills that you'll need to build your app, but these are the main ones that I'm going to emphasize and ask that you kind of bring out and emphasize. Okay, and so that's really where that learning comes in. But notice that this is just 9 things, and honestly, someone that buckled down and wanted to get fluent in these could get fluent in them in a week's time, easy. And honestly, like half of these are really simple, and the other half are moderately simple, right? So that being said, this course isn't about just learning these JavaScript skills. It's about building mobile web applications. There's going to be team collaboration, there's going to be brainstorming, there's going to be planning, and as well as coding. And so in the big picture, you saw that coding is not the hardest part. I could spend 3-4 weeks, I'd call it waste 3 or 4 weeks teaching you if statements and for loops again. Like, you should know those by now, and if you don't, then let me know and we can get you up to speed. We can give you some remedial stuff to get you going, right? Like, you don't have to be completely lost, and especially picking these things up. It's very easy to find an example, and you'll see me posting examples, and a lot of the examples I post, you could very likely just leverage in your app, right? So feel free to use that. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you in iLearn is this course assignments tab, and this will give you the rest of the overview of what's going on in the course. So I'll just hit the bullet points. So the objectives board, each week you're going to post to one of those categories, right? Outcome A, B, or C. And then as you post to it, then you share it, other people learn from it, you might share some insights, things like that. That's not your reflection journal, so keep that in mind. And so see rubric below for how it's assessed, and here's how it's assessed. The grade is calculated interactions divided by weeks, so pretty much if you post every week, you get full credit. If you don't, you don't. So it's very, very simple to to grade that, right? Performance reviews, this is looking at how you're interacting. Are you participating? It's very, very much a participation grade. Are you answering your team? Are you helping out? Are you just listening and taking assignments and doing them, or are you coming up with ones and improving the idea, right? So that's what, and that's also involves, like, are you writing code? Are you checking it in? And I can see your history, so it's very easy for me to see, are you contributing or not? Especially since all the team meetings are recorded, and I can review them, and I can just note, okay, everyone's showing up, everyone's participating, full scores, right? Very easy. The journal report is at the end of the year, and so this is going to be a personal journal that you write down in the meantime, and you keep it personal. You don't need to share it with the whole world, but it's at the end you're going to summarize this into several pages, and you're going to create the how I've changed journal report. And you can be creative on how you want to do it. If you want to do it as a video, written work, piece of software, other implementation, just keep me in the loop, and we can improve that. All right. Other thing is presentations. There's 2 presentations. After you got your team together and you come up with a proposal, then you'll come up with a design presentation, and we'll dig into, and I'll talk more about the specifics of what we're looking for in those, or you can ask questions and I can answer those as well. And then the second presentation, where you go and submit a link to your completed project online, and I can hit it with a mobile app, and I can play with it, and I can listen to your presentation as you describe the different decisions and the different choices you made, as well as the technology you used. Okay, and I'm going to approach both those presentations from an individual's contributions, right? So if we've got 2 team members, and we'll call them Adam and Bob, and if Adam created all the presentation slides and did such a great job, and then Bob does all the presenting, and I never hear that Adam created those slides, then I'm going to assume Adam did nothing, right? So you're going to have to present yourself. You're going to have to call out what you've done, make it obvious, and it's not about putting each other down, but put your stamp on it, and feel free to talk with me and let me know about any concerns you have there, if you want to make sure that I'm aware of any contribution. So that's why one person is not going to pull a whole group up or down. I'll curve it accordingly. Okay, so once you start getting into team meetings starting next week, we're going to set up different Google communities for each of you. You'll be using Google Hangouts to go and set up your meetings and record them, and you're going to be doing a meeting minutes, and it'll just be one document that you'll just keep growing as each meeting happens, and it'll be very easy for you to kind of track who's assigned what and follow up on that. Okay. So here's how we grade the presentations. Are they fluent in technical concepts? You can read these and dig into them. Here's the journal report, as well as the performance reviews. And so look into those, understand them, ask questions, and really I follow these when I'm grading it, because these are really the only things we grade, are these things that you see on this course assignments page. Okay. That being said, if I post stuff and they're, and if you're not replying, then that's indicative of how you're participating as well, and that gets rolled into the performance review. So that's the course overview. Feel free to post any additional questions. We can clarify anything else you need.